Hello and welcome to our webinar this afternoon, where we're going to take a deep under the hood look at the StorageCraft Cloud Services. So we're going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to give people a chance to log in. I see people coming on. Could I just ask if somebody out there would just confirm that you can hear me okay? If you just pop that into the questions box, just let me know that the sound is okay. And so, can you hear me okay? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, so well, our webinar this afternoon, we're really lucky. It's being presented by two of the most cloud knowledgeable people in StorageCraft. The first is our Senior Director of Global Operations, Dave McConkie, and he's being ably joined by our Senior Product Manager for Cloud Services, Bill Hansen. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Dave. So Dave, take it away.
Welcome. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to present StorageCraft Cloud Services to the EMEA team today. We are very, very proud of this solution, and we'll talk about it as we go through. So today, really, we're going to focus on a StorageCraft Cloud Services overview and just a little bit of background about StorageCraft. So StorageCraft has its headquarters in Draper, Utah. I think its official global headquarters, just as a side note, in Cork, Ireland. The company president for StorageCraft is Matt Medeiros. He's the CEO, and he came over with the TA acquisition 2 years ago. President of the organization is Doug Brockett, and he joined us with our Exablocks acquisition 1 year ago. StorageCraft Cloud Services is one of our flagship products here at StorageCraft, and we've won a lot of awards. Just recently, we won we were ranked in the 20 coolest cloud storage vendors of 2018 globally, and so that was something that we were very, very proud of, and frankly, something that we expected, based on our review of the competitors and what we see in the market. Just as a quick company overview, StorageCraft was founded in 2003, was privately held and profitable, and still is very profitable today. We are a global company. We have offices in Draper, Utah. We have offices in California, throughout Europe, Asia, and the Pacific Rim. We are a channel-focused company, so all of the business that we do, we drive through the channel and through distributors. Our intention is to help our partners make money, and that's really where our focus is. 2 years ago, TA and Associates purchased StorageCraft and made a $187 million investment in technology, and that's something that we are very proud of, and we've been able to leverage tremendously to help with our global growth and brand. We are experiencing rapid growth and expansion, with millions and millions of servers and VMs protected. We have a huge number of petabytes currently under management globally, just in our cloud solution alone, not to mention all of the global machines where Shadow Protect is currently installed and being protected. One of the things that, just to give a little bit of additional background, is about 5 or 6 years ago, even though StorageCraft was founded in 2003, we initially started as an OEM snapshot provider for our Shadow Protect product line. Some of the smaller companies that you might recognize some of their names, like Symantec, now Veritas, Datto Backup. A lot of these companies were OEMing our Shadow Protect snapshot technology. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, StorageCraft really said, hey, listen, we have some great technology, we have some great products. Instead of just being the linchpin to a lot of our OEM snapshotting engines and to their backup, let's really focus now on the StorageCraft name and really get out a product line under our own name instead of just being the linchpin of other partner solutions. One of the things that we really focused on with StorageCraft Cloud Services is minimizing downtime. We know in a data center environment, downtime can cost up to 4,500 euros per minute. And we know that in today's world of connectivity and transaction servers and domain controllers and exchange servers, being down for even a few minutes can be catastrophic for an organization. And in many instances, if you're down for a day or a couple of days, that can be unrecoverable and dramatically damage the reputation of a business. And so we've really focused on making sure that our product is always available and constructed architecturally in such a manner that that we can guarantee 100% uptime. As we talk about StorageCraft Cloud Services, one of the things to point out is it is just part of our overall solution. So one of the things we really wanted to focus on is leveraging our existing Shadow Protect and SPX technology, managing those images with Image Manager, and seamless replication to StorageCraft Cloud Services. We wanted everything to be simple to set up, simple to manage, and ensure that we can minimize the workload of our partners. We've added things in the cloud such as the ability for cloud services to communicate with a local instance of Image Manager, not just for the replication of the images, but in the recovery of any instances where there might be a replication blip or an incremental is replicated to cloud services and it doesn't, the MD5 hash doesn't match. So we've added a lot of functionality to minimize the work that's required by the partner. The cloud is in constant communication with Image Manager, and if there's ever a replication issue, or whether it be on the local side, or something happens with the image comparison during replication, the cloud will automatically recover, and without requiring any additional work from our partner. Okay. What do Apple, Microsoft, Google, PayPal, Pure Storage, large national global banks, and StorageCraft have in common? So this is something that comes up quite regularly. Well, the answer is we have presence in the same data centers. With the data centers and the bandwidth providers that we've selected on a global basis, we haven't taken any shortcuts. As we go into our data centers and we work in our cages, we're next to the Apple cage. We're next to the PayPal or the Pure Storage cage. We're next to, stock exchange servers. We're next to, cages that are that support large global banks and institutions. We really haven't taken any shortcuts in what we do with our solution. So a couple of just interesting cloud facts with StorageCraft Cloud Services is when we were looking at the architectural setup of StorageCraft Cloud Services, we knew that we wanted a fully distributed cloud solution. We wanted the ability to scale in storage if we needed to scale in storage, scale in processing, scale in virtualization, scale in replication and ingestion. We knew that we didn't want to be architecturally limited to just working on a specific server for that specific machine. We needed the ability to scale in any direction as we grow. We selected the self-distributed file solution for our back-end storage. And this ensures that as a customer replicates a 1 terabyte image to StorageCraft Cloud Services, we take that one terabyte image and we distribute those across thousands and thousands of servers and thousands of drives to ensure that we will not lose a single bit of data. Since the inception of StorageCraft Cloud Services 4 years ago, we have yet to lose a single bit of data, whether that be a 0 or a 1. The self-distributed storage solution is in constant communication to ensure data integrity. We use the same storage solution as the CERN Large Hadron Collider in France. We were just told by Red Hat who owns Inktank now, which owns the Ceph distributed storage solution, that we are one of the top 10 global deployments for our storage back end, and currently larger than Walmart globally. We were also just named the top 10 online backup provider enablers by Backup Review, and this was an analysis done against 75 companies profiled, from consumer to SMBs to enterprise, and we ranked significantly higher than Acronis, Datto, Barracuda, Commvault, Axient, ArcServe, eFolder, and companies along those same lines. And that's something that we are very, very proud of. We've invested a lot of time, a lot of research, and a lot of continued research and development with StorageCraft Cloud Services. We have a number of globally patented technology to aid our partners in minimizing the time and the effort required in the recovery process. We continue to see and support 100% recovery BMR rate, success rate. Basically, when recovering from the cloud globally, we have yet to see an instance where we have not been able to recover that machine data locally for the partner, either virtualizing that in the cloud or making it available for download, or failing back to dissimilar hardware. We have a 100% success rate in the recovery, and that's something that we take very, very seriously, and that's something that we are constantly reviewing, constantly testing internally and with our partners. As you'll notice, we also have a successful 100K recovery guarantee. It's unmatched in the industry. So we guarantee up to 100,000 euros that you will be able to recover your machine in the event of a true DR scenario. So that is something that that no other partner offers. That's something that StorageCraft stands behind, and something that we are so confident in our solution that we're putting our money where our mouth is. On an annual basis too, we actually hire. We've done, we've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours and brought in consultants and verified that the security of StorageCraft Cloud Services. But we also know that it's important to have an independent analysis of StorageCraft Cloud Services and the security on an annual basis. So on an annual basis, we hire companies such as Rapid7 to come in and do penetration testing against our cloud. Now, Rapid7 is just an example of one of the companies that we've used, but we spend thousands and thousands of dollars on an annual basis to bring in these companies. We review the architecture with them under MNDA. We give them demo accounts, and we walk them through the system, and then pay them to try to hack our cloud, to try to jeopardize, to try to get access to the cloud, to try to jump from account to account, to try to get access to, machines that are stored in the cloud. And this is something that is very, 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 very important, that we feel like we need a secondary validation for. And so we do this on an annual basis. With these reviews, occasionally they do find some small things that are very quickly patched, but they have yet to been able to access an account that they shouldn't have access to, or access the backup or storage of a partner machine. So that's something that we constantly monitor and constantly check, and we've got a lot of processes in place to ensure that we have the latest technology and the latest code in place to mitigate any attacks on cloud. We leverage functionality such as, in the hardware, such as dual redundant enterprise grade firewalls on the front end, and even the data as it's stored in cloud services is stored in an encrypted format. The data that's replicated to cloud services is replicated with encrypted shadow protect image files over encrypted channels. And then one of the things that we're also working on that you'll start to hear a lot of information about is our upcoming Middle East offering. So we have two primary data centers in the in EMEA, and we are rolling out support for the Middle East with that being supported from our data center in Frankfurt. With our data centers, you know, as I mentioned before, we haven't taken any shortcuts. We're using enterprise-grade data centers, Tier 3 and Tier 3 plus data centers in Dublin and also in Frankfurt to cover EMEA. We are leveraging the Interaction data center group that is, you know, a very highly respected data center group. For bandwidth, we're leveraging EU networks, and both the data center and EU networks guarantee 100% uptime for both bandwidth and data center availability. So we've got 100% uptime on bandwidth, 100% uptime on power, pipe, ping, everything that you would expect from these type of solutions. And you know, the thing that's interesting is they guarantee it, but they've proven it over the last 4 years. Since we've been working directly with them, we have yet to see an outage, yet to see downtime that impacts us or impacts our partners, knock on wood. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about the architectural overview of StorageCraft Cloud Services. So just a couple additional highlights. You know, we are globally, on a global basis, we are continuing our 5 nines of uptime. So we've actually exceeded that, and so you know, which is really quite amazing if you think about it. The ability to get access to your images 5 nines and replicate those images to the data center. One of the things that Bill's going to be sharing during his demo is our real-time file access and system virtualization failover. We also have a globally patented virtual machine policy. You know, in the event of a DR scenario, the last thing that you want to worry about is going in and setting up each machine to virtualize and assigning IP addresses and booting up your machines in a specific order, and you know, all of those things that would typically be required with the DR scenario. What we've patented globally is the ability for our partners to set that up in advance. So you can go, our partners can go into our portal, and as we'll demonstrate, you can identify the machines that you want to have spun up. You can identify the boot order, the boot delays. You can reserve IP addresses for failover. You can do all of your networking in advance, so that in the event of a DR scenario, with a click of a single button, you can instantaneously virtualize your entire or part of your network. And we've seen that happen time and time again with our partners, you know, during, you know, Ireland when it was being hit by hurricanes, Sydney when it was experiencing floods 18 months ago, just in the US last year. We had hurricanes on the East Coast and on the Gulf Coast, and we had you know, numerous partners with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of machines that were leveraging our patented virtual machine policy to instantaneously virtualize their entire systems and networks in the cloud. Because StorageCraft believes that you should have anytime, anywhere access to your data and systems, and you know, we stand behind that. So when we created StorageCraft Cloud Services, we wanted to do things a little bit different. We wanted to ensure that we had a fully distributed solution that could grow in a myriad of different ways. And we wanted to ensure that as clients replicate their backups to StorageCraft Cloud Services, they don't, those backups don't end up on a single server. We know with some of the competitors out there in the market, if you replicate backup to a cloud, that backup ends up on a single, you know, 4U server, for instance, in a data center that has, you know, maybe a RAID 5 setup for storage, and that can come with a lot of limitations. You know, it could be that maybe that server only has 256 gigs of RAM. It could be that you end up on a system that's in the middle of a RAID rebuild, and it has some limitations in that if I'm replicating an Exchange server and I replicate even, let's just say 20 machines to the cloud, I could end up with a few of those machines on that single storage server. And what that means is, in the event of a DR scenario, if I go to spin up, then my Exchange server needs the 256 gigs, needs 192 gigs of RAM, and I've got a file server that might need 16 or 32 gigs of RAM, and it all ends up on the same storage server in the cloud. I could very quickly and easily overwhelm that server. It could be that I'm attempting to virtualize on a server where another partner is currently virtualized and running in a failover scenario. Then I could easily take down that server with the inability to allocate RAM or CPU or things that we're now seeing are pretty common in the industry. And we've also seen that the recovery process can be very slow and complex with a lot of the competitors, meaning that during the recovery scenario, if I have a VM running in the cloud and I want to fail back, with many of the competitors, you have to actually stop that VM in the cloud, take a snapshot, copy that over to an external hard drive, and then overnight that image to the partner. And during this time, your server is essentially down. And with StorageCraft Cloud Services, our focus was really on the recovery. We really wanted our partners to be able to fail back from a running VM in the cloud with just minutes of downtime. Just the amount of time that it takes to take that last incremental, sync it locally, and then spin up that machine, that dissimilar machine in your local environment, or frankly, in another VM. And so we really focused on the recovery. With the StorageCraft Cloud Services solution, with that being said, we have our self-distributed storage solution that we've discussed. That is, it's a storage solution that's distributed across, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of servers and thousands and thousands and thousands of hard drives, but it's fully distributed to ensure that there is no opportunity for data loss. Is it the most inexpensive solution that we could have deployed? No. Frankly, it would have been a lot less expensive from a hardware perspective to just deploy a bunch of RAID 5 servers, for example. But we wanted to guarantee that the partner's data would never be jeopardized and never be have the ability for loss. With our cloud solution and our virtualization capabilities, if we need to scale compute resources, we just add additional virtualization servers. The virtualization servers that we deploy are enterprise grade. They have the ability to over-allocate CPU and RAM as needed. And frankly, we overbuy. We do analysis on a monthly basis where we look at all of the global machines and run disaster scenarios to ensure that in the event of a DR scenario that we have more than enough capacity and capability to virtualize all the machines that are required per our cloud solution. And you know what? We've made it simple. With StorageCraft Cloud Services, we don't charge for bandwidth. We don't charge, if you want to spin up an Exchange server versus a Windows 8 server, for instance, in the cloud. We don't charge you based on the amount of CPU that you need. We don't charge you based on the amount of RAM that you need. We know that you're in a DR scenario and we want to simplify things. So we've tried to simplify our offering as much as possible. And then with our cloud solution, we also separated our networking with the ability to assign a pfSense firewall and all those capabilities directly to the partner so that they can have full control. they can also get access. They can get access to that pfSense, to their own instance of that pfSense firewall to do more complex networking solution. We support OpenVPN. We support IPsec. We support things like hub and spoke, and those types of things that will impact a small organization or a large organization. With that said, we'll go ahead and turn this over to Bill Hansen, who is our Senior Director of Product Management for our Global Cloud Solutions, and he'll take it from here.
All right, thanks, Dave. Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for being on, and I'll take us through a little bit more about the actual offering we offer in terms of kind of the levels and the tiering, and then we'll jump into a demo. And as you can see here, we do offer different levels of service depending on what your customers' needs are. So you can provide something a little more customized and flexible to what their requirements are. So in Cloud Services, we have 3 basic service levels, what we call Cloud Basic, Cloud Plus, and Cloud Premium. Where Basic is truly the entry level where you can now back up and store your images to our Cloud Services cloud. And then you can do a restore, be it you can download that BMR, bare metal restore image, or you can get a BMR drive, as we call it, shipped to you. You know, we expedite that to you to restore those in your on-prem site. Cloud Plus adds the ability where you can do those same things as Cloud Basic, but you can also directly from our cloud portal get individual files and folders and do that recovery just right through the portal itself, mount the systems and do that. Cloud Premium really offers the full disaster recovery service where now you can do all the things I just mentioned, but also do the failover to the cloud where you can virtualize your whole network, all your machines in our Cloud Services cloud and be able to fail over and again have that disaster recovery capability to do that. And still, again, once things are ready back on premises, you can then get a BMR drive or do whatever you need from us to get things back up and running locally again. So those are the basic service levels that we have in our offering, but we also have different tiers, again, to customize to whatever our end customers' needs are, a tier 1, 2, and 3, and a flex option. And what those reflect are really the recovery points and how many that you have, be it the tier 1 where you have 3 daily recovery points, or so fairly basic. Tier 2 where you have 5 daily recovery points, so you get 1 for every day of the week, and then 2 weekly, consolidated weekly recovery points, and tier 3 where you have daily, weekly, and monthly recovery points. And part of the idea is to have these predefined so it's simple. You don't have to worry about customizing, but we found these are settings that a lot of people use, so you can choose whichever tier you need. And then ultimately, if you want to customize and do your own number of recovery points of dailies or monthlies or even yearlies, you can go to what we call the flex option and truly customize it to your needs and the customer's needs. And that's basically the different tiers and service levels that we offer for our cloud services. Now, what I'd like to do is show a demo, and you'll be able to see this interface a little more, but just again to emphasize a few things on, on our cloud service offerings. This is really built from the ground up, built to be a cloud DR solution. So as Dave mentioned, we spared no real expense to make sure we had a very robust, reliable, enterprise grade solution. And again, trying to make it very simple and affordable, very flexible as well, so to make it easy and yet have the flexibility you need. Now, our offerings include a few different things. We've got the backup, simple backup, as I mentioned, file and folder recovery, and then the complete virtual failover disaster recovery offering, with some of our patented IP that I'll be showing you here shortly. Last few things, just want to mention again, we really have tier 3 class data centers that we use and follow those security standards that we uphold, and that 5 nines of uptime, really guaranteeing that we're available and really your data and your images are available, 24/7 by 365, that we have it there for you and you can trust your data is protected. With that, let me switch over to the demo. Give me just a minute here. let me see, just make sure the screens are all updated. So we have what we call our partner portal, which is where you log in. I've already logged in to make it easy today. So you log in, and this is kind of the home screen of that partner portal where you have the ability now to manage those machines and accounts. Maybe you're an MSP, and be able to, see what's going on with people's machines they've replicated to the cloud and how they're doing the status. So I'm going to walk through that just a little bit. And obviously you can see here there's updates and guides and different things that you can look at while you're here as well. So I'll select here the managed service providers, our MSP navigation here to the left, which will take you to this account that I've logged into. It's a demo account, and it shows some high-level details of the account. But as you can see, that accordion drops, and you can see the different services that are available. And we're going to focus today on cloud services, as that's what we're talking about. But there are other things that you can manage here in this partner portal. So I'll select cloud services. And what we have is this account has two accounts. So if you imagine I'm an MSP, I've got two customer accounts, this one called VMworld and one called Bronson US Production. And it gives you that nice account summary of how many machines I have, how many VMs have been created or are running, IPs assigned to these networks or to these machines. Seed and BMR status, these are the seed drives where, that initial load of the data, you can transmit over, the internet, or you can actually get a seed drive to put it all on a seed drive, ship it to us, and we load it up that way. And again, depending on bandwidth and the capacity, that can be very good. And you can see the status of those things right here. And the BMR, bare metal restore drive, same thing. If you've requested a restore, you can track the details there. So I'm going to dive into a single account here, the Bronson one. Here you can see all the different machines that are in this network on our cloud. And here you can see there's a few of them here. And as I click on that, now the account details will show here. You see it opens a new tab and shows just this specific account detail, machines and different things, again, just as you saw on the higher level overview. And I want to walk you through a few of the features just so you can see some of the things we talked about earlier, Dave did, in action. So down to the bottom, I'll scroll down just a little bit here. You can see it lists all the machines, and you can see their size and the service level. This is a cloud premium account. You see when they were created, the last recovery points. It's all summarized right here. Let me jump into the networking session, as I think this is pretty important. And I don't want to get too detailed, but at the same time, there's a lot of differentiation we have with our networking capabilities that really gives you total control, gives you the ability to customize this to your needs. Let me make sure I'm showing everything. So here, you can set up your subnet configuration. So here, you can set up your network in the cloud, how you want the machines to talk. And let me show you here. We have the desired subnet you can set. We have those public, or I'll call traditional IP subnets that you can set up in the cloud for this network you're creating there. It's really the network in the cloud that we're setting up here. Now, once that's set up, and I'm not going to actually modify it today, so I'll uncheck that box and not change anything. You can then set up your connection to this cloud network. How do you talk from your on-premises location up to the cloud and all these machines you've now stored up in the StorageCraft Cloud? And that's over here with, there's a couple different methods. Your VPN configuration, as we call it. You can use IPsec and set up the different details right here. And actually, just so we have a little more room, I'm going to shrink that up above. So now you can see a little better here. The settings, and you can obviously set these up and change them to whatever you need and customize it to your connection, again, from on-prem up to our cloud. And then just in this open VPN, it's really easy to add users and allow people access and be able to get into this. As you can see, we have a list of users here, demos. We could add another user really simply. We'll put in Janet, as she's running the webinar today. We'll put her in, simply add her as a user, let you know it's successful. And then you'll see over here now, Janet will be the new user here, and you can send her this configuration file that has all the details she needs to be able to connect into that network. Again, this is now the cloud network up in the StorageCraft Cloud. So as you think about it, we've now set up the cloud in the network, or the network in the cloud, excuse me, and our connection from whatever on-prem location to the cloud. Now, if we need to set up a public IP, you can set that up as well. So now there can be a public connection into this cloud. And it's really simple. You see we've already got a number of them defined, but you can simply click add an IP address, and it will add this new IP, public IP, to this cloud network. Oops. Let me just wait a second. I'm going too fast here. There we go. And now that IP is now going to show up here at the top, that new IP address. And then lastly, you can go into private IP addresses, meaning the actual machines in the network. If they need to be a specific IP address, you can go customize all of that here. And I'm not going to go through all the details, but the point is we really make it very easy so you have total control. You can customize this any way you want, and you don't have to, reach out to us either to do this. You can do that at will as you log into this account. Now, one of the things we mentioned before that I want to go into is the virtual machine policy. This is something that we patented that really enables you to prepare ahead of any disaster that might come. Because really, if you have a disaster recovery scenario, the last thing you want to do is have to go configure everything and spend all that time to do that, where all these settings allow you to pre-configure your network so that it's easy and ready to go in case there is an issue. You can simply switch over and be up and running quickly. So this virtual machine policy button, I'll click it right there as it loads. What it does is it allows you to take all the machines, you see the graphical representation of all the machines. You can actually make dependencies so that certain machines boot up before others. Maybe you've got a controller that needs to be up before another machine spins up as it, is presenting IPs or something that another machine needs. And it's really quite simple. You can simply take machines and create dependencies, or even delete a dependency like I'm going to do right here. You can delete that and change what's needed and what's not. And it's simply to click on one and just say, hey, this machine is dependent on this machine, and now there's a new dependency created. Or even say this machine is dependent on this machine, and it'll obviously it will make the different changes needed to make sure they all spin up a certain way. And that one was already dependent on it, so it didn't add something new. Let me delete that out. And then you can customize the amount of time and things that each thing, the delay time between boot ups and all of that as well here in this virtual machine policy window. And you can do that for each of these. And just create another dependency there. It's that simple. And then when you're done, you save that, and it's all ready to go for whenever there is a need for a disaster recovery. Those things are already taken care of, and you don't have to stress about doing this manually one by one, bringing up machines as in the right order, because it's already done and defined. Let me close that. Where's that button again? Maybe I've got this window showing too much. Let me see if I've got it. Whoops. Hold on just a sec. My thing is giving me, I'm having fun here with my window. Hold on. There we go. There we go. I think I'm getting it here. Sorry, a little delay there as I'm trying to scroll around here. So basically I was able to launch the VM policy, and it's going to go apply what I just changed. Alrighty there. Sorry for a little slowness there as I move things around. But what I want to do now is let's go into a specific machine. So I'll pick this Win 7 machine. Let it update there. So what I've done is here's a virtual machine that's I've gone in and I've actually selected virtualizing. So this is a machine that the image is up in our cloud, and now we've clicked to have it virtualized, meaning actually create a VM that we can then mount and run. And so it's running that right now to go virtualize that machine. And you can see the size and date of this machine. Well, it takes a minute to do that. So while it's virtualizing, I'll pick another one that I already set up and virtualized just a little before our meeting here. And you see it already has a machine created, and it has this view option. So with that machine, you can actually click view, and it'll open up that virtual machine in this window. Or I could actually open it in a new browser window, and you see it right there. Hopefully there's no lag. And here is a Windows Server 2016 image that's up and running up in our cloud right now. And it has all the typical features that Windows Server has, so you can do whatever you need on this machine. You can go to command prompts, run SPX, whatever applications you have running, you can now do that here in the cloud. And again, running it just like it's on-prem, although obviously it's in the cloud and helping you get by until you can get things set up again in your on-prem location. Let me go back to the other portal. And I think that Windows 7 machine should be about done. Oh, not quite yet, still virtualizing. There's the view button coming, so it's just about done. So you can see it didn't take a whole lot of time. Obviously, depending on the machine size, it may take a little longer than others and how complicated it is, right? But that's how easy it is. It's really a single button push, and now you have the ability to virtualize the machine and run it right there in the cloud. And you can do that all from the StorageCraft partner portal. Let me see. I'm curious if there's something else here we should share. Just you can get all the details, these recovery points here below. On this particular machine, we have one recovery point. It's an old one because this is a demo machine, so we don't go change it a lot, obviously. But you're able to see all the recovery points and virtualize to whichever recovery point you want. And over here is where, if there is a need to recover and request a BMR drive, you can do that right here. Request a drive, and it has all the details you can enter. And again, we'll ship you a bare metal restore drive with your image straight to you, so that way it can be installed and you can be back up and running and recover from that disaster. Yeah, there is another way. You don't have to use a BMR drive or we ship a physical drive, but you can also create that BMR image here in our cloud and then just download it, and that way you can do it.
And some of our partners actually do both. So some of our partners want the ability to have an external USB drive that the recovery files get copied over to and get overnighted to them, with the ability to also directly download those images as bandwidth speeds increase. And we're getting to the point where people are starting to have gigabit speeds, at their homes or in their offices. Some prefer to recover in different ways.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. And so I was trying to open this one. It looks like it is still booting up. So just to show you again, once it's there, like this server 2016, once the VM's been virtualized, it's also very easy to change. Again, here it is. Once you have it up, you can keep it running, or you can stop the VM or destroy it and mark it as a real failover, so we know, and in the portal you can manage that. So again, very easy options to do whatever you need to, because obviously if you don't need the VM running, you can stop that and turn it off or destroy it altogether and recreate a new one. See, I think that's the key of the different things that you can do here. Obviously, there's a lot more features and different tabs and views and ways to look at your data, but it's really a powerful way that you can now manage these individual machines up in the StorageCraft Cloud.
Bill, just a couple of things. We're starting to get a couple of questions in. You know, does it cost extra for additional resources to be added to a machine running in the cloud? And that answer is no.
No.
So what we do is we actually, when a machine's spun up, we apply the default Microsoft recommended CPU and RAM to that specific machine. But in the event that that's not enough, we have the ability, our support teams have the ability to go in and override those CPU and RAM settings. And so that allows you to get more performance if you need more performance. And then once that change is made for that specific machine, then it's there in perpetuity. So it doesn't have to be made again and again. And then if you do have a complex network configuration, it is possible for you to access the back-end firewall. So instead of working through the GUI, you know, what we've done is we've covered most of the common scenarios in the GUI when, you know, when working with the networking. But we also have the ability to, for those partners who so choose, we have the ability to just expose your own pfSense instance directly to you, so that you have the ability to go in and do whatever you need to do from the networking you know, side, and then save those configurations so that they're available in the event of a DR scenario.
All right.
And then you do also have the ability to use IPsec and OpenVPN simultaneously with the solution. So that functionality is there and is available. You know, we wanted to support the most common configurations just through the GUI, but we understand as organizations grow and, you know, the offices and the organizations that our partners are supporting grow, they need, you know, direct control and direct flexibility.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Dave. So that really completes the live demo portion. And obviously keep the questions coming in and we'll address them. I just want to make a quick comment about the roadmap for what we're doing for cloud services. As Dave said, we're really proud of this offering. We feel we have a very robust, very strong offering for the market and for customers to use, a great service. But obviously we're working to enhance that to make it even better. Here's just a quick roadmap with some highlights. Obviously, there's lots of other little details and little fixes and things we do all the time, as any software company would. But this Cloud Services 1.11.0 that you see there in the middle, that's something that we're in the middle of working right now, where we're implementing some erasure coding technology on our side that really benefits the efficiency and utilization of the storage nodes and servers and things, which will help us even be more robust and more efficient in what we offer. There's some replication as well as some maintenance updates that we're working on, just improvements, and even reporting, the alerting and reporting capabilities of the product. That's something we're doing to enhance it, to make it even easier for MSPs or others to manage their machines in the cloud. And then later on, again, still in concept mode a little bit, we're looking later this year and into early next year to kind of create a new generation user interface to update some things, to make it a little smoother, to manage and to do some of those things I was showing earlier, as well as was mentioned, we're based on SEP, and some of those libraries and things are updating, so we'll make sure we stay up to date with the latest drivers and different things from them. We want to make sure that they have that, and we continue to do what we need. Let's change the display side. Oh yeah, I see that. We're showing you the next Q&A slide. There we go. But anyway, we're working on those things to make sure we can really offer a great solution. And even if you're looking there, that lower cost entry level solution, we're looking to enhance it with even a lower level basic, if you will, offering, so people can get in even easier and utilize the cloud at a more limited, different SLA type approach of the cloud services. You also see on the ransomware detection, we already do a lot in terms of having images to restore and fail back to. But we want to do even more to alert and help people with ransomware, as that's become a bigger issue in the industry. Some enhancements we're going to be making there. Again, these are kind of in the future, and as I always say, once you've seen a roadmap, then it's out of date as soon as you presented it. So the key thing here is I want to make sure people know we're working on this and investing heavily, not only in the hardware, but in the software itself and in the features and capabilities that we offer with our cloud services. And with that, that kind of completes that portion. I want to open it up to some questions and answers with myself and Dave here, and obviously with Janet being the moderator. Open it up for that now.
Okay, thanks, Bill. I think that was really, really interesting. I think we've covered a lot of the questions. Just let me see, there's a couple left. The first is, if I have a complex network configuration, would it be possible to get access to the back-end firewall?
Yes. And you can get direct access through to your own PFSense instance to handle anything that PFSense can handle, and that's highly configurable.
Yep.
Okay, good. Next question is there an option to do VM testing with machines in the cloud? Doing virtual boot like you can in Image Manager locally, and then emailing a screenshot.
So the functionality, so what we did is, as we were speccing out the functionality for the cloud, we looked at doing, kind of an advanced verify snapshot in the cloud. We're speccing that out right now, but it's not there currently, just based on the volume of machines, that are being replicated to the cloud. We do, with our self-distributed storage solution, we approach it a little bit differently, because we know that the data is good in the state that it was replicated to us. And then, as we mentioned before, Cloud Services is just an extension of SPX and Image Manager, and so best practice is to leverage that advanced verify image snapshot feature on your local instance of Image Manager. And so it scales a little bit better that way. And so you run your nightly snapshot on that machine and get your screenshot prior to replicating those incrementals to StorageCraft Cloud Services. So we support that functionality. We just approach it a little bit different.
Okay, thanks. Next question. What is BAS, B-A-A-S?
That's backup as a service. We're really just providing that, that backup location and target, if you will, the basics. So it doesn't include like disaster recovery where you virtualize. So BAS is more that basic backup.
Yeah, it's kind of like simple offsite image storage.
Yeah.
Basically. So, and the thing that's important too is when machines are replicated to StorageCraft Cloud Services, you can choose one of the 3 service levels. Cloud Basic, which is just simple storage; Cloud Plus, which allows you to mount those same images and do file and folder downloads, and recover that data, similar to kind of like a Dropbox, where you're mounting the image in the cloud and then downloading the files and the folders that you need. And then Cloud Premium, which is the instantaneous virtualization. And so those are the 3 different service levels that are supported. But the thing that's important to note is, once you replicate a machine to StorageCraft Cloud Services, the data storage behind the scenes is the same. So if you decide that, over a period of time you want to change a machine from Cloud Basic to Cloud Premium, you can do that. There is a little bit of a delay. You couldn't say I'm Cloud Basic and then, 5 minutes later want to switch over to Cloud Premium. There is a delay in the change of 7 days or the next billing cycle. But you do have the ability to change the machine service levels just with your own, through the GUI, without any overrides from StorageCraft. So you can control, you have full control.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so question is the storage 1 terabyte per VM, and is that the native size or the online size?
So with this, what we do is we basically position 1 terabyte per machine, to the cloud, and obviously with the incremental changes and things like that, your size grows a little. So that's really the block, if you will, of capacity that we sell per machine. Obviously, if there are machines larger than that, we can handle that too. It's just the basic is 1 terabyte, and then there's overages, of course, for larger machines than that.
And the way that works is it's not based on the Shadow Protect image file size. And it's really the size that's used in the cloud, or that's billed for in the cloud, is equal to the size of your local volume.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's, you know, compressed shadow protect image file. We use that to minimize the amount of data that needs to be replicated, but the billables actually for that 1 terabyte is equal to your local volume.
Okay, thanks. So question, when we virtualize VM on the cloud, is it in read-only mode or read and write? And if it's a case of it's read-only, then how can we save the data?
So when the VM is run in the cloud, so we're leveraging KVM behind the scenes, and when a VM's running, if it's in a true DR scenario, so a true failover is marked, we actually take hourly snapshots of that VM so that we are capturing those writes, and then in the event of a failback scenario, before we turn off the VM that's running in the cloud, we take a final snapshot so that we can sync that down to the recovery process that's happening locally. So, you know, so you're getting all of those changes from your file server or your transaction server or your Exchange server, and then during the failback process, your system is really only unavailable for just a few minutes while we're grabbing that last delta, syncing it, and applying it locally.
Okay. The next question, I think, is sort of an addendum to the earlier one about the terabyte. And the question is, or the comment is, it is becoming quite restrictive and applies to small servers now.
So, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't catch the question. Is that just a comment that 1 terabyte is becoming small? Is that kind of the question?
I think so. I think this is sort of an addition to the earlier question, that is the storage 1 terabyte per VM, and is that the native size or the online size? And then goes on to say it is becoming quite restrictive and applies to small servers now. Okay.
So I think the question, Bill, is they're asking, you know, what they're really asking is the ability to pool or the ability to have more than 1 terabyte per machine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's where it was going. And yes, we're looking at that today because you're right. People want to utilize more of that capacity, as well as for larger machines, obviously, they want to make sure they're able to fit those in. So we are looking into pooling and that capability. It's not available today, but something we're looking as an enhancement, if you will, to our offering.
And just to kind of set the expectation too is, you know, that's something that Bill's been spending a lot of time working on, is, you know, what can we do? How can we increase the offering? The average machine size globally in StorageCraft Cloud Services is 300 gigs. So, and that includes snapshots. So, you know, we do have some, you know, probably 95% of all of our machines that are in the cloud fall under, you know, probably 500 gigs of total storage, maybe 550 gigs in the last 5%. Or larger. We do have some machines that are 12 terabytes or 14 terabytes of storage. We've got some definitely some larger ones, but on average, you know, if you look at the complete average globally, with, you know, tens and tens of thousands of machines globally, you know, the average image sizes with snapshots included is 300, or I think the latest is like 311 gigs. So, yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I think that we've come to the end of our questions, but if anybody out there has some questions that they think of afterwards, please feel free to contact us. We're happy to answer them. So it just remains to say thanks to Dave and Bill. I think that's been a really, really useful webinar. And thank you all for joining us today. And as I say, any questions, you know, feel free to come back and talk to us or talk to your account manager. We're happy to help. Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Thanks.